Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day, and good night, everyone. The JMH guy here. My name is James once again. And in this video, I wanted to do a bit of an all-in-one video for today. So I want to go over a few things. As I mentioned in my previous videos, my BMW coming back from the massive road trip out east to the east coast of Canada, as well as the selling of my 1989 W126 Mercedes-Benz 560 SEL, as well as moving out to the East Coast, as well as some channel updates and the reminder for the current contest that I am running. So let's get straight into it. So the BMW it's been back for a week and a half now, barely, not even 2 weeks, from the 3-week road trip I took it on with my girlfriend, actually, to the East Coast. So we went all the way from southern Ontario to Nova Scotia, all over Cape Breton Island, the Cabot Trail, Halifax, New Brunswick, a bit of northern Quebec, northeast Quebec, and throughout the area of southern Ontario, and almost like a loop back around. And it was incredible. It was just under 2,000 kilometers to where we were headed. So we started in outside of Toronto, Ontario, and drove all the way over to Montreal/Laval, Quebec, and seeing some of the sights. I'll be sure to throw some pictures and videos up, actually, throughout it. And Montreal-Laval was pretty interesting because it's just so different than like driving in Toronto, because the older streets, they're narrower, so it's a bit different. Luckily, because the X3 is a compact SUV, it was pretty decent, actually. I was surprised, because once again, it had great ground clearance, it had enough power, it had enough space, but it wasn't too big. If I was driving an X5, it might be a little different in comparison. And so after that stop, we went over to a place near Sciabec, Quebec. I don't know how to pronounce it properly, to be honest. We stayed there. And following that, we actually drove all the way to Moncton, New Brunswick, where we stayed. And then we did the Magnetic Hill famous Magnetic Hill drive. I'll be sure to throw a video of the driving of there up here. It was very, very interesting and pretty trippy, if I can say so, as you'll see in the video when I throw it up. And it was a neat little stop. We had to go through New Brunswick to get to Nova Scotia, and we hit Nova Scotia where we were on our way to the Cape Breton Island, where we stayed for a few days. Did the Cabot Trail Road. That was a ton of fun. I never knew driving roads like this existed in Canada, separate from the West Coast, but I don't want to directly compare because it's just not fair, and they're very different. But the roads were so smooth. The views were amazing. I mean, and the weather was incredible. I mean, it was just such a great, memorable experience. Driving together with my girlfriend. We had a blast. And it was pretty spectacular. So I'm looking forward to going back to it, maybe with some different vehicles. Stay tuned for the future. And so after that, we made our way down to Halifax, where we stayed for just over a week. Mix of different things we were doing down there. including tourism stuff. Met up with various friends also along the whole way of the whole trip, as along the way to Nova Scotia and in Halifax. Met new people and more. So it was a blast. Did some sightseeing, as I mentioned. Visited southwest and northwest Nova Scotia, Wolfville, Digby. Went to Lunenburg and passed. Went all over the place. Almost went to Yarmouth, but didn't quite make it. We just didn't have the time, despite as much time as we stayed. But we'll be sure to head to it after the big move later, which I'll get into shortly. Actually, I should backtrack. In New Brunswick, the only thing I did do was fill up my car with some oil. I treated it to some Mobil 1 synthetic, and it ran great. I mean, did I have to? Technically, no. It was at the minimum, but I want to, keep it tip-top shape mechanically. So after we finished in Halifax, we ended up going back up through to St. John. Visited an old friend of mine, her and her husband there. We had a nice little double date there. And then after that, we went to Montreal again, where we stayed. The difference is we actually went through the tunnels, which I'll throw up a short clip that my girlfriend took, which was pretty fantastic. Third gear, down to second. Had some traffic. What my exhaust leak sounding X3 sounds like through the tunnel. So Montreal. Probably should get it fixed. But it's it goes from point A to point B, several thousand kilometers and back. Following that, where we did stay, we ended up going to Ottawa after that. Because it was like, you know what, we're already out that direction. We might as well just pop in, spend an extra day, see what we can see. The construction and the roads were just atrocious. And everything's just shut down due to what's happening in the world still. So many buildings under construction, so many shut down. So the ones that are open are, you have to book an appointment or schedule time, limited visitors. Not everything's open. If you do get there, then that's on top of parking. It was a mess. So we just did a bunch of drive-by, like camera work, videoing, and more. So it was still cool to go through. And then we came back through to Ontario, where I'm gonna be, as I'm in the process of packing up for my early move back. As I mentioned briefly, moving out east fully, so I'm moving out very shortly for a couple of months, and in that time, my girlfriend and I are actually finding a place. It's very difficult with the market right now for rentals of everything. So, anything else in terms of the channel, once all settled in the next, like more permanently, if you will, in a couple months, then I have some really cool ideas, especially just before the winter does pop in. So that's the main big thing there. The channel, I'm moving, but the channel's staying, more videos. So the next thing I want to talk about, which I did skip over, the selling of my 89 Mercedes 560 SEL W126 S-Class. So, as I mentioned in a prior video briefly, a shorts, I did sell it. I sold it just over a month ago before we went on our 3-week road trip my girlfriend and I, literally a few days before we left. So thankfully, a friend of mine helped connect me with a friend of his. So mutual friend helped some people. They were interested in it, and they made a fair offer, and the timing was great, and it was very smooth, and it was spectacular, because they have plans to restore it, which is really awesome. And it's going to stay local, at least for the time being. So it'd be cool to see it around when I do visit Ontario again. So it was very interesting. I just want to expand a little bit on it because it was such a unique spec. It was dark navy blue on a rare, for North America, blue velour interior. There was nothing else listed in in a similar spec. There were other Euro spec ones. This is a Euro spec imported from Japan, of course, but it was velour interior, which from my understanding is common in Europe. So the W126s had velour interior, they had MB Lux, and the full leather interior. The family also has an 88 560 SL, which is the full leather interior, and it's amazing. The velour is really awesome in its own way. Excuse me. But that combined with the mid-range mileage of 100, just over 155, if I remember at the time, 155,000 kilometer, about 100,000 miles. So it wasn't low mileage collector, but it was not a high mileage rust bucket, if you will. So it was very difficult a month prior to that to figure out the rough market range, but after some research, after talking to a lot of people, lots of everything, it ended up working very well. A happy ending, if you will. So now, why did I sell it in the first place if it was such an amazing car and I loved it? And I did. It was comfortable, it was powerful, it was just so cool. Classic 80s Benz is just awesome. Quite frankly, it's just because between, as I mentioned, moving out east, I still have my 2004 X3 BMW, and so that's my daily car. And the logistics of moving that out east on top of my girlfriend's car, my car, as well as everything else. That aside, it didn't make sense to bring it over at this time. I would love to buy it back one day if everything works out, but otherwise, I needed to save up, because looking to purchase a house, so I need to save up for that down payment, because when something pops up on the market, we want to take it. We want to go after our first house, and it's great to have a cool car, but if you don't have a garage to put it in, then it kind of ruins a bit of the magic. And I mean, the feeling of having your own place, your own house, or a house in general, opening that garage door and then you see your dream car versus elsewise, just personal view, that's all. So really, really cool. So hopefully get a secondary or fun car in the future. That said, if limited on driveway and garage space with our future place, as I mentioned on the channel, I would love to get like a Porsche Cayenne Turbo or GTS as a replacement for my X3, but we'll have to see, because that would be a great all-in-one daily fun, etc. So keep you guys posted on that. I'd still love to get a Maserati one day, but we'll see what happens. So that's why I sold my 89 560 SEL. Family owned it for 16 years, almost 20 years. So it was sentimental, but even though the car's gone, the family memories remain. So that's really, really cool and exciting. And yeah, then just on to the next chapter with saving up for a house down payment. Now, wrapping up this video, final note I do want to add on is the reminder for the contest for the 118 scale model Lamborghini Murcielago LP640 Coupe in balloon white from my Histo, as well as a couple other goodies. Doing a random giveaway when my channel reaches 1,000 subscribers. I'll put a picture of it in the top part here, as well as a bunch of other cool stuff. So to enter hashtag mini Lambo, And just interact with the channel. Make sure you like as many videos as you can, the ones you like and enjoy, find value. Comment down below. Tell me about your adventures and what you guys are up to, as well as make sure you're subscribed. Really eager to and excited as well to grow this channel and maybe even start a little cool community. As I mentioned, with the road trip and the future car stuff, it's really different but exciting times, which I'm excited to share more as time goes on. So, yeah. In the meantime, comment down below. Are you guys doing anything big for this fall, or did you guys any road trips yourselves? Did you take an old car on a big road trip like I did? While mine was over 5,000 kilometers or 3,000 miles, being 180,000 miles on my car, or 300 plus thousand kilometers, it was a big test of reliability, especially for old high mileage BMW. Now, old will be controversial for some people because any E30 or E36 owners, I used to own an E36, I used to own an E24 and an E28, and those had even more mileage, except for my 635. But that's another time for another story. But anyways, make sure you guys do subscribe and stay tuned, turn on notifications. I'm excited to share with you guys the next few videos, and stay along for the ride. Till next time, yeah.